The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, an Auditor General's report vindicates former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis's food program. The report reveals there was no mismanagement of funds. We talk about that. Also, this week, you will remember CARICOM leaders very upset, and residents in particular across the region, about those U.S. bombings. This after 2 men from Trinidad and Tobago were killed in one of the bombings. Also, you all get this, November 24th. Well, that's the date for the Golden Isles by-election. We'll take a peek at that as well. And later, have you seen those window cleaners who perform the very specialty jobs at high levels and high risk? Well, the NWC Bahamas team joins me. This is Beyond the Headlines, Week in Review Fridays. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. The Food Distribution Task Force has been cleared. The Auditor General's report says funds spent during COVID were fully accounted for. Now get this, a total of $52.14 million were spent. Some $2.82 million were returned to the Treasury. Former Prime Minister Dr. Hubert Minnis this morning, earlier today, when I spoke with him about this, was elated and felt vindicated. Of course, he said from the beginning, he knew the money was spent on what it was targeted for and that all of it could be accounted for. I'll tell you this, Beyond the Headlines also spoke with Susan Holowesko Lawson, and she has promised to speak with us officially here on the show later next week. But again, they both feel very happy that this Auditor General's report has cleared them and kind of lifted the cloud of suspicion over the entire program. But we're going to get in right there this evening. I'll tell you something else Dr. Minnis said, and we will also get into that in this discussion. And so, welcome to Beyond the Headlines contributors, Ellington Ferguson and Garth Roseborough. Gentlemen, good evening to both of you.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas. Certainly, it's a pleasure to be here once again.
Good night to all. What a great day it was, and hopefully everyone is safe and secure tonight, and looking forward to a great weekend.
Absolutely. Gentlemen, you all heard that I just read. That was headlines early on in this administration, and still a cloud of suspicion hanging over. Listen, what happened to the food program? Was all that money necessary? Did Susan Holowesko Lawson do what she was supposed to do with the money? Did she spend it on where she was to spend it to? She was the wrong person to manage the... Listen, we heard all these various things, and most of them, if not all, made headlines. Your thoughts about what this Auditor General's report revealed?
Shanique, I'm happy that she was vindicated. It's unfortunate, and we here in the Bahamas, I've watched over the years as politics has taken a turn where we have this kind of a I'm going to get you kind of thing. Every time an administration change, they go after certain persons, and the persons are vilified, and they are completely vindicated at the end of the day. We've got to be careful of this. Politicians have got to be careful of this. It's become a trend. I've seen it happen in the last administration where we had 2 former members of parliament that have been charged, and we see
cabinet ministers.
Cabinet ministers, exactly. And we see that they've went through their court cases, they've won. We see the involvement of politicians in it trying to coerce and make things happen to the tune where what ended up happening, the government paid millions of dollars for their side of representation. The person after they would have won the case, taxpayers again were priced with millions of dollars of a lawsuit, wrongful lawsuit. And so we've got to be careful of this. And here's this woman, a Bahamian citizen, and during COVID, that was a task to work to provide food for Bahamians across the country. and for her to be blamed, not only just blamed, arrested, spent time in a cell for the work that she's done, and to be completely vindicated by the audit that clearly states that she have clearly expended all the food, everything
And
is
returned
accounted
some
for.
money.
Money was accounted for and returned. This is sad. This is not good for Bahamian politics. We don't know what the next step is going to be, but we've got to be careful what we do. We've got to be careful of how we handle the taxpayers' money to be able to have to go into all of these things. We don't even know whether a lawsuit is going to come or not from the good lady. I'm so happy that she's vindicated of wrongdoing, and I hope that we can look at these things and be careful when we're going to levy charges against people and make sure there is a case. Don't just do it because that's your opponent, that's the other side.
It was an extremely difficult time, filled with emotion. Many of us were still in shock about this whole idea of a COVID-19, a national lockdown. We saw the economy itself taking a dive because tourism had dwindled. And
Stopped.
and so you know, the fact of the matter is that when they had this food program, I too was skeptical. You know, people walking through your neighborhood giving out boxes of food, and I'm not no box of food type fella. I like my lamb chop and stuff. But eventually, you know, when you realize the time that had passed and you can't get your lamb chop, you take that can of tuna with gratitude and say, boy, you know, this is something that is good. What amazes me, Shanique Miller and Ellington and those that are listening tonight, good night once again, is that this program is not only just for New Providence, this is for the entire archipelago of the Bahamas.
Absolutely.
Can you imagine the management skills it would actually take in order to make such a program work? And now to find that the Auditor General says, you know what? Not only did you do a good job, you did a great job, every dollar accounted for, even with a return of monies vested to feed the families of the Bahamas. I say kudos, kudos, kudos. These are the type of citizens that we need in this country. We may have been envious at the fact that, oh, you know what? They chose Hollow Westco, they didn't choose me, but look at the results now. Eh?
So you think that was a part of it, the fact that of who was chosen? Because people, you know, the argument also was, oh, why the hell can she relate to anybody?
Yeah.
And why would she be in charge of some food program to feed black people? What does she know about needing a can of tuna?
Well, let's put it this way. Have you ever had a party or some type of bashment where you've had family and friends and they're in the kitchen and behind the scenes? You know, half of the food never reaches.
Come to your party.
It never reaches to its intended guest. Huh? And so the mere fact that the foods actually reached to the intended families and sustained us through such a time of tragedy. Once again, I say, you know what, Shanique Miller, we chose the right person in hindsight. And I would say if we go through a crisis such as that again, God forbid, this is the type of person that we would want to manage our situation.
And Dr. Minnis is to be...
And 1 second, because I'm not saying those are my thoughts. I was just quoting much of what was said out there at the time.
And I think he must be commended for choosing somebody that have run such a wonderful program, and at the end of the day, which is rare in Bahamian politics, return what she did not use. So Dr. Minnis also must be given credit for choosing her to do it. Yes, we have, and I remember some of the conversation that went around, should not we choose persons who are already doing this in the community? Yes, that is all good and fine on that level, but this is something on a national level. I think she's done a good job, and nobody starved to death.
And don't forget now, Ellington, don't forget to thank Shanique Miller and Beyond the Headlines. You say she's biased, but this was an F&M program, an F&M administration, and Hollow Westcoast were associated with the F&M, and you're giving them kudos tonight. And so thank you, Shanique Miller, for the fairness in your report. And once again, I'd say that everything in the past administration was not a failure. We've had much stories of success, and I want to continue to champion the successes of our nation.
Absolutely.
Of course. I mean,
regardless to which administration.
And I'll tell you, listen, I'm just here to tell the story, have a good discussion about it, as fair and as balanced as we can, as certainly as possible as can happen on the show, and keep it moving. I don't pay attention much to anything else. However, though, let's look at Dr. Minnis. Dr. Minnis also was saddled with this burden for a minute. He felt as though, my God, did I really mismanage this money? Was this money? Did I make a mistake? What was going on? Of course, he felt from the beginning, according to what he said even today, and he said in the media many times, as you all know, even from the floor of Parliament, listen, he did nothing. This food program was the right thing to do at that time and was necessary. It was managed properly, and because this Susan was more or less, let's say, an independent figure in all of it, she would not pick and choose and show favoritism of who gets what and who doesn't get it. No, she would ensure that it is evenly and properly dispersed.
Absolutely.
So Dr. Minnis also said he felt, though, kicked to the curb, neglected, abandoned, scorned, even by his own party. What do you all think about those thoughts of Dr. Minnis during all this time that the heat was on him and all these question marks were over his head in terms of that food program?
The greatest downfall for Dr. Hubert Alexander Minnis that I've found, Shanique and Ellington, is in his public relations. There's so much more to the administration that we've never even heard about. The negativity that was actually being spun at such a time, those 4 years, that was tumultuous. But if you really took the time to understand, appreciate, research, even have a conversation, you'd be amazed to know the feats that were actually overcome during the administration of that 4 years. And so, Dr. Minnis, I say, you know what, I know what you did. I know you did some great things. But if no one knows about it, no wonder why people in your party now want to fight against you, and they actually have a case, because no one knows what actually took place.
You sure the people around the table didn't know what was
people
happening?
around the table
but Garth, even here, for example, let's
public doesn't know.
You all know me well enough now that if you hear something out there on me, I would like to think you would defend me.
Absolutely.
Even if you're not knowing the whole story. He felt, this is what he felt like. He felt like, dang, he was there made to face on his own something that he knew was all well-intentioned, and for at the time, based on all the uncertainty in the world, in the best interest of the Bahamian people.
Shanique, and even as you use the illustration about us knowing or hearing things out there about you and us knowing you, I would have to be, number one, surprised that you did it when the truth come out that it did happen. And I would have to apologize to those persons who are accusing you. Because when you know a person, you were inside, you defend them to the T. If they have done something, yeah, well, I'm surprised that, yes, she actually done this. And so to say this, I've often wondered, why is it? And it speaks to a level of dishonesty. Why does the present party kind of wants to run away from everything, a lot of good things that was done in the last administration? They only seem to want to identify with it. In this case, when this food audit program comes out, then everybody want to release press statement and talk about, oh, what a good program it was. It was a good program from even the time when they were being investigated. And it's unfortunate that nobody attempt to defend the former minister administration, to defend some of the good things, to defend programs like this food program. Everybody seems to want to run away from it. To lose an election in the Bahamas doesn't mean that everything that was done was wrong. That's not necessarily the case. Bahamians vote government out for varying reasons. A lot of time for personal reasons, some reasons which really is not legitimate. People vote an administration out. And so for you to run from everything that you have supported, that you have passed resolutions and you've bombed and chaired on the desk about, and to just run away from everything is disingenuous in my opinion.
The greatest question mark in this situation, Shanique Miller, is not from the Progressive Liberal Party. The question is really as to why does the Free National Movement want to separate itself from these accomplishments? If they were on the inside and they know of many of these situations that were successful, why then are they not putting the feather in the cap of those responsible? They have distanced themselves from success in order to create their own new success. And the issue with the Free National Movement today is very simple. It's very difficult to build on new success when you do not have a foundation. We have seen the Progressive Liberal Party. They build on past leadership, no matter whether you think it was a strong leadership or whether it was a weak leadership. It was Lyndon Pinling, it was Perry Gladstone Christie, and now it's Philip Brave Davis. When you look at the Free National Movement, you're telling us you want to skip over any type of a mention of a legacy of Hubert Alexander Minnis. So where does that now leave you? You have to go back, all the way back to Hubert Alexander Ingram, who is now retired and basically out of frontline politics. It cannot work. These success stories, you will need these in order to enter into strength for the upcoming general election and even by-election. But if you want to discard these things, you're going to find yourself in defeat.
Gentlemen, the leaders of the Caribbean, and especially citizens of the Caribbean, highly upset. And the reason they're upset is because they feel threatened. Why can't the Caribbean and its leadership come to the table with the United States, whether it is the Secretary of State or the Defense Secretary, and say, listen, hold up, man. When it comes to our guys being on open waters and doing things that might look suspicious, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it and perhaps approach it in a different way. We all know the Trump policy, though, is take them out. If you are suspected and perhaps proven to be running, whether it's drugs or human smuggling, you are a threat to America. We'll talk about that when we come back. And also, guys, the date for the by-election has been set. And also, are you paying attention to some of the more interesting races that's shaping up? We talk about all that and more on Beyond the Headlines right after this.
Welcome to Blissful Escapes, where luxury meets affordability. Whether you're seeking relief from aches and pains or simply looking to indulge in some well-deserved pampering, relax and detox in our infrared sauna. Enjoy a soothing Swedish massage or an invigorating exfoliating body scrub. We also provide advanced facial treatments using cutting-edge technology, including hydrofacial, microneedling, and microcurrent therapies, located at the shops of Cable Beach Plaza.
Things may be tough, but Wendy's got you covered. Grab a day single or chicken sandwich with a junior fries and 16-ounce beverage for just $6.95. Why choose less from the other guys when you can get more? At Wendy's, we're providing bigger bites and better deals. So purchase your Ting's Tough Value Meal today. Now available at all locations excluding the airport and food truck.
Running out of space? We've got room for that. Welcome to Skyline Storage, your trusted self-storage solution. Skyline Storage offers units from 5x10 to 10x30, climate controlled or standard dry. Perfect for home or business. Located in Westfield Commerce Park, Western New Providence. Your belongings stay safe with gated access and 24/7 surveillance starting at $175 a month. Reserve, pay, and move in online. No phone calls, no paperwork. Visit SkylineStorage.com. Skyline Storage. Storage made simple.
7.5 years, but I walk in here all of a sudden, total stranger. I'm calling you Rick and Sheila like.
I win. At Island Oct, we take sports seriously. Get ready to experience the thrill of winning, anytime and any place. Bet in real time and live the thrill of every play while watching your winnings stack up. It's your chance to score big with fast payouts and a world-class experience. Get in the game and bet the Bahamian way with Island Oct Sportsbook.
Beyond the Headlines is now introducing powerful TV advertising opportunities made just for you. Choose our television ad package, 20 30-second ads for $2,000 or 20 60-second ads for $2,500 plus VAT. Prefer flexibility? Go a la carte. Just $150 for a 30-second ad or $200 for a 60-second ad. Step into the spotlight with our interview package. 1 15-minute interview for $500 or 4 for $15 per month. or bring Beyond the Headlines directly to you with our live on location package, only $2,600 plus VAT. For more information, contact our sales agent at 242-466-6173.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It is Week in Review Fridays. Just before the break, I talked about CARICOM leaders and many residents of Grenada, for example, protesting even, urging leadership to meet with the United States government to revisit the Trump policy of, listen, take them out on the ocean if they're suspected of, not even suspected, I imagine proven, has to be, Lord, but of drug running and trafficking and all the rest of it. Your thoughts. You saw Minister of National Security, William Monroe, say, listen, when asked, sir, what do you say about this? This got a lot of laughs. He said, what do I have to say? If a nation wants to protect itself and the way it wants to protect itself based on all that's been happening with regards to drugs and all the human trafficking we see what's going on towards that nation, well, they will do what they need to do. But what I will say to Bahamian people, stay off of go-fast boats.
In the immediate, I would agree with the minister. However, I agree that the leaders in this nation, including in this region, including the Bahamas, should have already come together. They should have already approached Washington, trying to find out what kind of intel Washington have, trying to get some kind of information so they could have an understanding as to what's going on. We hear that the U.S., the Trump administration has unleashed this war on drugs, and they're going to do what they got to do. But we need to just not sing in our homes or sing to our media. Go over there into Washington and find out what kind of intel, what kind of information you have.
This is terribly frightening, just even to hear of this, Shanique Miller. As a boatman myself, I got to try to find a way to slow my boat down. I don't think
You better don't go fast boat.
I don't think I'm going to go too much faster. I think I better
Don't
slow it down.
package the fish. Keep them open in the boat.
Keep them fish open.
But you know what? I do appreciate the word communication that you use, Shanique Miller, because I do recall sitting here that when it was the issue of the foreign workers here in our country from Cuba, the medical staff, there was an encouragement for a discussion just about the workers who were here, how they're being compensated, and that we were being unfair to these workers. That was a conversation. And so because the conversation was necessary then, I agree with you, Shanique Miller, we must now have a conversation about this situation. And so I would say geopolitically, yes, CARICOM needs to come together, and yes, this conversation must take place, and a report given so that we can know how best to govern ourselves when we go in the ocean.
How best, though, is, listen, those nefarious activities, those ones right there. Mm-hmm.
Cease and desist.
That part. Let's listen. You all, of course, you know, Jamaica, really, they've had several news conferences all yesterday and today. And what the news conferences are about, you heard on this show last night, meteorologist Wayne Neely spoke of this. Tropical Storm Melissa. It's a slow-moving storm, much like, I don't even want to call the name Dorian, but it is expected to bring strong storm surge. You know, during the break, we discussed that, and you all gave me a vivid example of exactly how about the storm surge, about the sea swells, about the flooding, which Wayne spoke to as well. It's now threatening Jamaica, but it's still, and it's a strong and big storm, but it's not even expected to strengthen to hurricane strength until later next week. Now, of course, it's threatening Jamaica, which they're already experiencing some effects, Cuba, Haiti, the southern Bahamas, and then move right on up the chain of the islands, right? Now, Basquin, you all know that brand new weather network that Robert Caron has been here to talk about. Michael Strawn has been here to talk about. He's one of the principals there, talking about being able to properly pinpoint and give real clear details as it relates to weather and what we are experiencing real time. Well, I'll tell you this. Robert Caron from that Basquin Weather Network spoke to Beyond the Headlines earlier, and he issued this warning for the residents of Michael in particular, and a lot of the central islands as well, to brace yourselves for this storm. It is nothing to take lightly.
Afternoon, my brothers and sisters in Michael. It's Robert DePuch Caron. Let me first thank everyone who came up to support not only myself, but all the aspirants for Michael. It was great to have so many of the residents of Michael up in the capital. I do hope you had a enjoyable trip and stay. And no matter who you supported, just remember you can't hope for change. You can vote for change, and that requires participation. So I'm delighted to see so many of you be actively involved, and I look forward to whoever wins the nomination to be a wonderful ambassador for those lovely Southern Islands. I want to take a little bit of time to now talk about Tropical Storm Melissa. As I speak to you just an hour ago, Tropical Storm Melissa is centered about 218 miles to the southeast of Kingston, Jamaica, and is nearly stationary today and is expected to start moving to the east-southeast at 2 p.m. later this evening. Maximum sustained winds are 60 miles an hour, and tropical storm force winds extend 140 miles for the center. So for those of you, 280 miles for the circumference. So it's a big, big storm. So to put that in perspective of the Bahamas, it's 316 miles to the southwest of Anagua, 385 miles to the southwest of Mayaguana, and 470 miles almost due south to Acklins and Crooked Island. And so what's going to be happening? Well, the storm is expected to become a hurricane maybe Saturday this evening or by Sunday evening. And it's going to take a westward track south of Jamaica, dip a skirt over Negril there, south, then turn northward Tuesday, go over the eastern part of Cuba, and then either Wednesday morning or Wednesday evening sometime in the southern Bahamas. And while the exact track is a bit of a challenge, we do know the intensity. It's going to be, a major storm, 2 or 3, could even be stronger. Depends on how much time it spends over Cuba. So, you have to be expecting, this is next week, not this week. There's no more tropical developments, so there are going to be daily showers and thunderstorms. They're not associated with the system. But then building up Tuesday night, Wednesday, you can have widespread thunderstorm, heavy rainfall, gusty winds, tropical storm force winds descending into hurricane storm force winds.
And so, of course, there's Robert DePuch, Karen, speaking very authoritatively based on the fact that he has this, insight through BasQuin, the BasQuin Weather Network. Your thoughts on, one, that network strengthening our meteorological department, but also the fact that, listen, residents really take this seriously, all of us.
First of all, Shanique, this is a breath of fresh air for the islands in that area. They get direct and quick reporting and very clear and concise reporting on these storms. And in time past, these storms sort of crept up on them, take them by surprise. I think this is a breath of fresh air for that region. I must praise again the work that Robert Karen and his group is doing in that region, and that will consequently serve the entire archipelago of the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, and so he's to be praised for that. And I want to advise all of my friends and family in Michael, Acklins, Crooked Island, Lonky, Mayaguana, and Inagua to please pay close attention. This is a huge storm. It's massive, and they give all the predictions of what and the timelines, and things can happen. Sometimes you hear these things and you don't understand the severity until it's upon you. And so we want you all to take all necessary precautions. My family that's in Lovely Bay, please. They talk about heavy flooding. The last time Lovely Bay was cut off from during the last storm. So I want you all to move to higher ground and find whatever necessary hurricane shelter. And let's play this one safe. Let's be careful.
Well, I'm a huge BasQuin fan. I'm like now the #1 fan of this particular agency. The vision that it has for the entire country, I want to say kudos. It's very unfortunate for those people who want to tie it into our national politics. This is no time for us to be political about progress. This here is a game changer. This is Bahamian Renaissance at its best. And the mere fact that we can now track storms even within 5 minutes of whatever development that is about to take place, that is tremendous. This particular storm is a rain dumper, a water dumper. It dumps a lot of water, so what it means for Jamaica, Shanique Miller, is that Jamaica's going to have a lot of mudslides.
Mudslides, Haiti
the mudslides
as well.
in Haiti the same way, those mudslides, that's the real danger right there.
Yes.
As for you people in the Bahamas, flooding is going to be your issue.
Flooding.
If you are living in a low-lying area, now is the time to make amends with the family members that you just basically tipped off and say, you know what, forgive me please, but I need to move in for a couple of days because the water is coming and I need to get to high ground. And so just go ahead and recognize your nearest shelters, and then go ahead, folks, like Shanique Miller said today to us, pray, 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 Bahamas. This is going to be a big one.
Absolutely, prayer. Listen, you don't do it without praying. I want to quickly move on to this next topic. Looking at interesting races, many people have watched the Fox Hill race as it continues to kind of, we know the two candidates already for the Progressive Liberal Party, incumbent Fred Mitchell for the Free National Movement, Dr. Nicholas Fox. You all, this race has taken every twist and turn imaginable, from social media and dances and challenges, and Dr. Fox taking just really redefining what campaigning is. And then, of course, Fred Mitchell at the weekend on a huge, I don't know if you all would know the kind of motorcycle it was, but your thoughts on this Fox Hill race?
Well, Shanique Miller, first of all, don't you ever say to us, if we are your backup singers, you'll put us on the show. Because I ain't showing up.
I think I can do that because
I ain't no dancer.
I think Dr. Fox say I can give each one a hot dog if you all can be my backup singers. And Ron, I thought it was AI for a moment because his move, the way he moving, listen, was a whole different thing. But can we do that? Perhaps if I would invite you all back on the show if you all be my backup singers.
Yeah, Leslie and Ellington, they can go and dance. I have no part in that.
Leslie tall, he got long legs, he'd be a better dancer. So we watch him.
But what is interesting in this race is how entertaining Dr. Fox is. And I know he sat on this show with you as well, Shanique, but he's very entertaining. And then we saw a whole attitude shift in Fred Mitchell. I don't know if you saw that, but Fred Mitchell all of a sudden just did not attack simply, but he now became more approachable. He's now intent in his movements in Fox Hill. I saw him walking into some Jonglou shacks with the Congos. And so everyone is paying attention to detail. Dr. Fox gives 4 air conditioning units. Fred comes and says, my Chinese friends, I need a whole central air unit, So this race is going to be the race of races to watch. And I don't think anyone can rightly say as yet who's going to be the victor. But we know that Fred has a long history of success in this area. And if he really knows the game, he would win. But a man who brings birthday cakes to everyone in the community, that one is hard to beat.
Shanique, I watched this race. I've been watching Dr. Fox. I've been watching Fred Mitchell doing the things that he do. I think Dr. Fox brought a lot of humor to the whole campaign and a lot of satire and all that type of stuff. I've seen, like God mentioned, Fred Mitchell. He's been very focused on his campaign. I think he's taking it very serious. If I were to give an analysis, I think Fred Mitchell is still going to be the man for Fox Hill. I don't see Dr. Fox being able to pull it off against Fred Mitchell.
But Ellington, Fred doesn't have a hot dog, a potato chip, and a soda.
You could go get it.
How Fred can beat that?
Fred may have leg quarters.
I can leave that alone. We start open leg, I out the door.
Don't get your hot dog then.
Don't get your hot dog. I don't want no hot dog.
That's such a silly thing, a silly saying that people say on the streets. Don't get your hot dog then. Justin, if we are out of time, let me know. But Southern Shores is looking quite interesting, and not even we know who the F&M candidate is, but the PLP hopefuls are making it quite an interesting watch.
There's a female that has just entered into the aspirant race, Shanique Miller.
Of which constituency?
Possibly Southern Shores. I got a communication on Saturday.
Is she somebody who just started a show?
We know her very well.
Is she just someone who just started on a show?
Well, we know Shanique. But don't put our friend out there like that yet. Let's just see what the PLP has to say.
Friend, you either come talk to me or I tell the people who you are. Is she in the legal profession?
Oh, yeah, but you know.
Is she in the legal
profession? Don't put my friend on there like
that. She's legally entitled.
Okay. Hey, listen, Southern Shores, our eyes are on you. We've always said, Donnelly Penn, you're out there doing your thing. We know of those other O.B. Roberts and we know of Clint Watson. And if this female does show her face, this is actually going to be a contest to watch. We're all strong individuals, and may the best one win.
From start to end, Southern Shores is going to be a very interesting race to watch. From the hopefuls all the way to election. Donnelly Penn has been in there. She's been on the ground. She's a formidable candidate. She's doing wonderful things. She's a wonderful person. And so she's the PLP's candidate is coming behind. We're looking at O.B. Roberts and Clint Watson right now. 2 good candidates in there. And that is heating up between those two. And now third person is being heard to be introduced in there. It's going to be a very, very interesting race to see how they match up, who comes out on top to go against the candidate on
And
the
in
other
the
side.
last minute that we have the by-election in Golden Isles, we know it's the 24th of November. In fact, 1 month from now. What needs to happen? What do we need to hear or see or feel from these prospects?
Work is happening on the ground. In terms of identifying the strongest candidate, we all basically know who we know to be that person. There's a new candidate coming from the Progressive Liberal Party. It's now a race unique between the party of choice, the leadership of choice, but the person of choice is more clear to many people. And if the new person entering this race wants to be that selected individual, he's going to have to make himself known in a big way and very, very quickly. And so just take this as just a word of advice. It's not over yet. You still can win, but you do have a hill to climb. That's the way Golden Isles is now looking.
The Progressive Liberal Party, Shanique, is going to look to solidify itself in Golden Gates. They're going to look to
Golden Isles.
Golden Isles. They're going to look to retain that seat at all costs. We're not sure whether the F&M is going to run their candidate. They has their person that was already slated for Golden Isles. We're not sure whether they're going to run. We know the COI has got their person in there. They're campaigning.
Yeah,
and
we
so
had them on this week.
this is shaping up to be a very interesting race. I'm sure that all parties, the COI that we know that
You're
is
forgetting
running,
the DNA. So we heard from the COI guy on the show this week. We've not heard from the DNA. We've not really heard from the PLP's person or the F&M either.
Now that you mentioned that, Shanique Millen, sorry, Ellington, now that you mentioned that, I do anticipate there are going to be 1 or 2 independent candidates as well coming to that race. And so what I want to encourage you all to do is to visit Shanique Millen here on Beyond the Headlines. We need to know who you are. Politics is not cheap. You got to put your money here on the table. Let's see your face. Let's hear what you have to offer and what you have to say. Let us make the determination from now if you're a person to consider. We do not want to waste time in Golden Isles.
Gentlemen, fantastically put. Thank you both very much, Ellington Ferguson, Garth Rosborough. Thank you very much for an incredible hot topics, always opinionated, never short on words, and that's what they do here. And of course, we love hearing the thoughts of the people and what they're saying. We'll continue to follow that tropical storm, by the way, as it makes its way over Jamaica and Cuba, and of course headed in our direction. We will certainly continue watching that. Don't go anywhere though. When we come back, we're going to shift gears in just a moment. Stay close.
Fly fishing for me is kind of a way of life. My father was one of the pioneers that started the fly fishing industry.
I grew up around the industry, but it was mostly spin fishing until the invention of the fly that changed the whole fly fishing industry as we know it today.
Well, fly fishing, in my opinion, is an art form that subscribes to artificially inducing a fish to take a lure.
It's fishing, but it's more like hunting than anything else.
So it is hunting, one aspect of it is, and the second of it is creating a lure that you are imitating that is of the environment.
You're actually stimulating the bite by them visually seeing the actual lure that you're sending to them.
Crazy Charlie is the fly that revolutionized, as we know, the saltwater fly fishing industry. It was invented by my father. He recalls seeing the bonefish chasing a little bait fish called a minnow. He took a couple chicken feathers and some bead eyes of a military tag, and that was the beginning of the advancement of saltwater fly fishing industry on the flats as we know it today. The importance of that fly allow you to be able to fish for bonefish in various depths of water.
Captain Rupert Lead, my dad, who's also a pioneer in the industry, his fly was called the gotcha fly, and it emulates two things: the minnows, which is a small bait fish, and also a shrimp pattern. See, there's so many legends that I'm now standing on. Percy Dowell, Ivan Nemo, who would have passed, Raymond Mackey, you've got Sidney Nemore, Carl Moxie. These guys were filled with knowledge. They were self-imposed scientists. They saw these fish act in a certain way, and they know how to target them on specific tides. I feel extremely proud to carry the baton on, knowing that I can actually teach other youngsters how to carry the mantra, and they themselves can pass it on to other generations.
So you want a space But not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience, with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
Beyond the Headlines is now introducing powerful TV advertising opportunities made just for you. Choose our television ad package, 20 30-second ads for $2,000 or 20 60-second ads for $2,500 plus VAT. Prefer flexibility? Go a la carte. Just $150 for a 30-second ad or $200 for a 60-second ad. Step into the spotlight with our interview package. 1 15-minute interview for $500 or 4 for $15 per month. Or bring Beyond the Headlines directly to you with our live on location package, only $2,600 plus VAT. For more information, contact our sales agent at 242-466-6173.
This segment is brought to you by EV Motors Fleet Sales Division. For 2026 commercial vehicles, call 821-2403 today.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. It's good to have you tuned in this Friday. We're going to shift gears now and tell you about a company that's been around in the Bahamas. It's really a staple, but they have rebranded and they are doing amazing things. NWC Bahamas, Nassau Window Cleaners, has rebranded itself to be able to now service customers, for example, like a Bahamar, like, for example, an Atlantis, and you get the idea. They go and do the tough jobs at highest heights all around the Bahamas. And today and this evening, they're here to talk about exactly how they're assisting in making that happen, how safety is a priority, also how this company wants to now move forward with legislation to make it sort of a recognized thing and something that Bahamians are very mindful of when they're performing duties like this. Joining me now is Bradley Joseph. Bradley, what are you at NWC Bahamas?
So I'm the safety coordinator,
yes,
and also the fall protection specialist at
the floor production specialist. It's a whole like operation that happens at NWC, but this is so awesome. First of all, give us an idea, just a little history of NWC, how it started and how it came to now have this wonderful rebrand and servicing such major projects and clients like you are doing now.
Okay, so NWC started off as a small window cleaning company. It was founded by two friends, and over time it moved from just window cleaning at ground level into heights, and moving from 1-story buildings to 2-story buildings, and over time have reached at probably buildings reaching now 300 plus feet in the air.
Now how many stories is that? Because for the rest of us who only could say stories, break that down a little bit.
30 plus stories.
You are kidding. This is what NWC does now?
Yes. So we're now moving from that also into expanding the fall protection.
Fall protection?
Yes, fall protection.
People with these specialty design floors, you're saying you also work on that to keep it in good tip-top shape for the customer?
Yes, so it's customers that has anchor points and various fall protection devices and systems already pre-installed, engineered to have swing stages and use rope access ropes. So we inspect those, we also install those, and we give also our consultation.
So this is for major events, it appears?
Yes, major events, major hotels, major properties, we provide those kind of services.
Okay, so let's talk about how it is that you all scale, as up to 30 floors. We know we don't have 30 floors, I don't think, in the Bahamas. We do?
We kind of
near there?
Near there.
Yeah, I know there's a resort. I won't call the name. There is a resort that does have that, I think may go up, maybe not quite there, but close enough.
Near there.
How do you even manage that? Because you were the only company in the Bahamas that provides this service, highly skilled, obviously extremely technical. How do you even manage that? What does NWC Bahamas do?
So first, we believe in education. So it requires the guys to be trained at high levels. That within itself dictates our safety policies, the way we do things, how we manage risk. If the guys don't understand what they're doing at that high skill level, there could be tragic accidents. So we emphasize education, we emphasize training. So we have these guys trained at international levels.
So your team, you don't
Yes.
just pick any, somebody can't come and say, hi, I'm looking for a job.
No.
And I'm available to work. No. They are scrutinized, obviously, and then trained abroad
Yes.
to be able to perform the service.
Perform the service. So when they're trained and they're very, very skilled, we have a division manned by our chief rope access technician, and they, together along with myself, we create various policies and guidelines that actually outlines how the work should be carried on, the safety measures should be in place, and what also the client need to have in place in order for the service to be provided.
So give an example of what a client would come and asking for, and then what it is you look for to ensure that it's in place before you and your team go ahead.
So the client would probably we'd require from the client certification documents, some documents that are provided by an engineer or maybe a qualified person stating that the fall protection system in place is up to standard. It's also inspected by a competent person. When we have those documents in place and we get to review those documents, that's when our team then goes on to do our risk assessment on the field, make sure everything's in tip-top condition before we go over the building and make our attempt to either paint, pressure clean, clean windows, facade maintenance, you name it. So we make sure that the client have those documents in place before we move in and do our work. But also, if in this instance where a client don't have those documents in place, we also provide that service where we could come in and create that space where before our guys come in and do that work, or in the situation where an anchor point can't be installed, our guys are trained at highest levels to perform various tasks or use other techniques to go around that barrier. So it's a two-part service, whereas for mega organizations that could afford that upfront cost, they could actually pay for engineered design systems. But if they can't afford it upfront, we also have our team that are trained to go around that barrier and provide the same tip-top service, but using different techniques.
I often wondered, for example, those buildings that go up multi-stories.
Yes.
How do they maintain? And now you're letting us in on some industry secrets, because how are they looking freshly painted, wash, scrub, pressure cleaned, the windows nice and clean? Like, how are they managing that 7 days a week? 365 days or of the year.
Yes.
How are they managing that? This is where you and your highly skilled team at NWC Bahamas come in.
Yes, so at NWC Bahamas, we specialize in that skill so that way there's no need for scaffolding. There's no need for...
And this is what I thought. I
Yes.
figured, when you see a scaffolding, maybe that's what's happening. That's the project that's going on. They're cleaning up.
Yes.
Or painting.
So at those heights, scaffolding may bring its own issues. Maybe it doesn't look great on the establishment to have that scaffolding
to have that there for the longest while, yeah.
Exactly. So this presents a much more palatable solution for those problems.
This is good.
Yes.
So you're mindful of the investment, the business, and also, of course, the safety of you and your team.
Yes.
The skills of it. The fact that you want to also operate in the best possible time frame while doing the job right.
Yes.
Okay, so what else can you tell us? So this is quite unique.
So at NWC Bahamas, we also invest heavily on our team.
Mm-hmm.
So we do operate at a different wavelength, I would so to speak. When it comes to safety here in the Bahamas, we notice that although it's not demanded or it's legislated or legal, anything written that needs to have any risk assessment or any stuff to make sure, safeguards to make sure that our workers are safe, we take that upon ourselves at NWC Bahamas to make sure that our workers are safe. So we do that by also training, B, we also give the guys incentives. So we find new ways, new methods in order to keep the guys engaged, and also want to do and want to be safe.
This is a unique kind of industry. Y'all went from cleaning windows and walking up to the street and the store corner and just cleaning to exactly what you described.
Yes.
How are Bahamians, how are they responding to the opportunities in this industry?
So based on our social media platforms at NWC Bahamas, we noticed that we got a lot of engagement from different viewers, commenters, just in awe of what we do. Most of the comments around of like, how do you guys do it? Is this, I don't even know this exists here in the Bahamas.
Yeah.
So from those feedbacks, we could also see that this service is something that is new, and also something that if treated right, it could also be a big thing, especially with the new...
It can mushroom, because you know, I mean, the Bahamas is continuing to just morph, and new products and new investments, opportunities are coming on stream on a regular basis.
Yes.
Obviously, you want to position yourself to be able to tap into many of these.
Yes.
Talk about the fact that you also are looking, you and the team, you and the NWC Bahamas, are looking at somehow legislating this in terms of what?
So the aspect of legislation, we want to also reinforce the current safety legislations here in the Bahamas. One that promotes proactive safety measures rather than being so reactive, waiting until something happens before we react.
So what kind of laws would your, just one,
yes,
one idea that you all have discussed that would NWC Bahamas need, for example, to be made law? What kind of idea are you all thinking of?
So something that involves work at heights. Any legislation revolving work at heights, the requirements needed to perform work at such heights. Also, maybe enforcement agencies, the development of a new agency that goes around and enforce safety practices at construction sites, at various areas. So the formation of legislation and enforcement agencies to do so would also bring about a great, not just enhancing safety for the Bahamas, but also ensure that each organization and industry ensure that their safety, their workers are safely protected.
And you all are obviously mobile, meaning you can go anywhere in the Bahamas.
Yes, anywhere in the Bahamas.
Where have you serviced already?
So we have predominantly been in Nassau. We haven't serviced a lot of the family islands yet, but that's our goal, that's our intent.
Yes.
We've been looking into Freeport,
yes,
especially with that industrial space, that open space, those high
and
silos,
they're about to introduce even more. Exactly.
Yes. So over time, we would like to move into that, tap into that space, provide those services. Windmills is another avenue we'd want to
there are some areas that there are windmills. Yes.
Yes. So those are areas.
And so you all can specialty clean or pressure wash and
technical services as well, electronic devices or whatever. So we do have an electrician on the team that provide those tasks, electrical tasks, electronic tasks, only those tasks along those things. So you can provide us technical expertise on those fields as well. So it's not just cleaning and maintenance and facade maintenance as well, but we're also trying to go on those little technical fields like welding, confined spaces, different avenues, anything basically what you could do on the ground but doesn't know you could do at height. So any type of fields like carpentry, you have paintings, you have...
because those things are not required at anything. I often say it, construction has so evolved in the Bahamas. Yes. We see it elsewhere. We all love HGTV and we love to be in awe of the end result. Now that those demands are here,
yes,
people know you just can't pick up a nail and a hammer anymore and feel as though that's enough. There are services like yours that are now in demand because people are requiring just a bit more. They want the aesthetics to look pleasing. And sometimes it requires an NWC Bahamas to go at varying heights, provide varying services, as you've said, and help bring this dream that many investors and business owners and perhaps even individuals have to have in their minds.
Yes. So it was once a field that was kind of dominated by, I guess, foreign entities or foreign parties that would most clients would want that service but would have to seek foreign parties and contractors to come over to provide that service. We see the need, we noticed that there was a gap, and NWC Bahamas is trying to fill in that gap, so that way you no longer have to pay absorbing amount of money to get those same services. We could also get the training, come back and provide you with the same service, the same expectation, the same safety, the same sense of we're doing this, or we're providing that service without having to worry about stuff like liability or insurance or whatever, because our company is insured at high levels, so that way in case of anything that may go wrong, we are also covered, and your property is also covered, and it's safe.
So each job you walk on, you're saying basically is covered?
It's covered.
Yeah. Now, who should reach out to NWC Bahamas? Who is this individual, especially with so much going on, whether it's here in New Providence, Grand Bahama, Eleuthera? I mean, so many islands have major, Michael is starting to talk about having major projects and all this stuff happening there as well. So who is the individual or a company or group that should reach out to NWC Bahamas?
So you have project managers, you have safety professionals, general managers, also entities such as maybe mega resorts, commercial properties, luxury homes. All those properties will require those kind of services. Also, for example, we may tap into a wind turbine or those wind turbine fields that's more like energy.
Yes, like the windmill, for example, that you mentioned. Okay.
So that's more into energy industry. So persons who manages those plants, so plant managers would want to contact us in case they have maybe they need a service done. Maybe they need the wind turbines to either be clean, or maybe be examined. So those services, those persons, those groups of persons.
Who knew this expertise and the level of this expertise existed in the Bahamas? NWC has so changed its face, and no longer just walking around with a water and a pail and cleaning windows. No. I mean, you all have specialized yourselves and are offering another level of service. What is the phone number and the contact and location of NWC that you all can be reached?
So NWC is located on, I think it's Cable Beach. Number is 431.
So this is a WhatsApp number and a cell number. Quickly find it, quickly. You could say it. Quickly.
14859.
431.
4859.
4859. 431 4859. Again, NWC. You need, listen, even if you say Christmas coming, y'all go. And you need this and that power washed and cleaned, and because sometimes it's not a paint, it's just that wonderful good cleaning that can just make it look brand new, like it's freshly painted and all that. Listen, get in touch with them. 431
4859.
4859. Thank you very much, Mr. Joseph. He and his team are always ready to go, and again, offering different levels of service. So just reach out to NWC. I'm looking forward to talking to you all again.
Thank you so much.
Really looking forward to it. Thank you for sharing that with the Bahamas, especially as we move forward and continue to expand and evolve as a nation. Thank you once again. I want to thank all of you for tuning in this evening, and certainly, of course, for hanging out all week long. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a blessed weekend, everyone.